Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narutama Devim Saraswati Siddhyasam Tattvajan Budi Rayet. Okay. No? Why? So we're reading from Canto 7, chapter 7, 7, and it's 28. Oh. Tasmad Bhavadi Kartavyam Karmanam Trigunatmanam Bija Nirharanam Yogaha Pravahoba Ramo Pravahoparamo. Sounds like a German word, isn't it? So long. Diyaha Tasmad Bhavadi Kartavyam Karmanam Trigunatmanam Bijani Haranam Yogaha Pravaho Paramudiyaha Tasmat Bhavadi Kartavyam Karmanam Trigunatmatnam Bijani Haranam Yogaha Pravaho Paramudiyaha Tasmat Bhavadi Kartavyam Karmanam Trigunatmanam Bijani Haranam Yogaha Pravaho Paramudiyaha Tasmat Bhavadi Kartavyam Karmanam Trigunatmanam Bijani Haranam Yogaha Pravaho Paramudiyaha Tasmat Bhavadi Kartavyam Trigunatmanam Bijani Haranam Yogaha Pravaho Paramudiyaha. Word. Tasmat, therefore, Bhavadi, by your good selves, Kartavyam, to be done, Karmanam, of all material activities, Triguna Atmanam, conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Bija Nirharanam, burning of the seed. Yoga, the process by which one can be linked with the Supreme. Pravaha, of the continuous current in the form of wakefulness. Dreaming and deep sleep. Uparamaha, the cessation. Diyaha, of the intelligence. Right. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Therefore, my dear friends, those sons of the demons, your duty is to take Krishna consciousness, which can burn the seed of fruitive activities artificially created by the modes of material nature, and stop the flow of the intelligence in wakefulness, dreaming, and deep sleep. In other words, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, his ignorance is immediately dissipated. Purport. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 26. Mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogina sevate sagunan samati tyaitan Rama bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. By the practice of Bhakti Yoga, one immediately comes to the spiritual platform, transcendental to the actions and reactions of the three modes of material nature. The root of ignorance is material consciousness, which must be killed by spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness. The word bija, nirharanam, refers to the burning, the root cause of material life to ashes. In the Medini dictionary, yoga is explained by its result. Yoge purvata samtraptau sangati dhyana yuktishu. When one is put into an awkward position because of ignorance, the process by which one can be freed from this entanglement is called yoga. This is also called liberation. Muktir itvanyatha rupam svarupena vyavastiti. Mukti means giving up one's position in ignorance or illusion, by which one thinks in a way contrary to his constitutional position. Returning to one's constitutional position is called mukti, and the process by which one does this is called yoga. Thus, yoga is above karma, jnana, and sankhya. Indeed, yoga is the ultimate goal of life. Krishna therefore advised Arjuna to become a yogi. Tasmat yogi bhavya Arjuna. Lord Krishna further advises, or further advised in Bhagavad Gita rather, that the first-class yogi is he who has come to the platform of devotional service. Yoginamapi sarvesham matgate nantaratmanam mana shadavam bhayajate yomam same yukta tamo mattaha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 47. Thus, one who always thinks of Krishna within the core of his heart is the best yogi. By practicing this best of all yoga systems, one is liberated from the material condition. Yeah. Okay, just repeat the translation. Therefore, my dear friends, those sons of demons, your duty is to take to Krishna consciousness, which can burn the seed of fruitive activities artificially created by the modes of material nature and stop the flow of the intelligence in wakefulness, dreaming, and deep sleep. In other words, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, his ignorance is immediately dissipated. Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Dikam Andeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Pitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Sabuditam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sute Devi Padamami Hari Priye Jaitam Surato Pango Bama Manda Mate Gati Matsavasva Padam Buju Radha Madana Mohanu Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangum Langate Girim Yakripa Tamaham Bande Shigurum Dinataranam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Miti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivesesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Margo Marvati Marvari Smaranti Sadavaha Sarve Sarvakara Shumarvam. Yeah, good morning. Right, we continue with Narada Muni instructing Prahlad while he's in the womb of his mother. So, I was going to say to you, yeah, okay, the Srimad Bhagavatam is a special scripture which presents philosophy, and in particular, Prahlad here is actually being present, and he will present the philosophy of life, okay, in a series of verses in this chapter. We live in a world where no one, or not many, actually know what the absolute truth is, okay, and this truth which is unknown is called Jnanam Agyata, which exists practically in the whole world today. We live in a world where the materialists are very proud, as described in the Bhagavad Dambudapo Bimanascha. So pride, arrogance, and conceit. They're very proud of their advancement in education, philosophical speculation, and scientific knowledge. But the fact is that they don't really know anything about the absolute truth, tattva. And this is why Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a great piece of literature full of scientific knowledge, right? Krishna consciousness is a science. It's not, it's okay. Okay. Oh. Encore, s'il vous plaît. And yeah, he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a great literature of scientific knowledge. Why? Is it because he wanted us to read this lots of books about about God? And it is, because it is, the scientific knowledge is not nothing mundane about it. Okay, it is to bring awareness of the absolute truth, and we all know, you and I, that the absolute truth is God. Yes. Okay. and not our Prime Minister. Okay. This particular text is it talks about being a devotee, what a devotee is meant to be doing with his life. It's not about abandoning all your social commitments or your material life and then locking yourself up in some temple and saying, okay, I'm now Krishna conscious and I don't want to have anything to do with the material world. That's a completely wrong way of thinking. Here it is. Prahlad actually lays out what we should do when we actually become devotees. There is a mantra in the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. It says Om Asattu Ma Sat Ma Gamaya, and then Tas Tamaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya, and very good. You've been reading. Okay, good. So it's lead me from the unreal or the untruth to the truth or reality. Lead me from darkness to light, and lead me from death to eternity. And this is probably something that we probably chanted in our past lives. That's why we're here today. Yeah, or somebody's chanted it to us, apart from other things like giving us prasadam and all that. Right. Unfortunately, we live in a world where, because to be a human being is the most fortunate thing that we can ever have, this body, because only through this body can you be Krishna conscious. You can worship God, you can hear words, scripture, you can repeat scripture, chant the names of the Lord, you can worship him, you can pray to him, you can surrender to him. You can't get that out of a cat or a tortoise or some other living creature or a tree, for example. Yeah. So the human being today is actually not the word being. Are they really being? Because it's the today, we got human meing. It's me, myself, and I, and human human spring. I have to spend money here. I have to do things, in a concentrated form to make myself happy. And human winning, everything is about I need to be, winner takes all, etc. What we really want to do is to transform the human being into a human seeing. Seeing what? Seeing the truth. Because that way, then you can be human freeing. Yeah. And this is what devotees are supposed to do. At the beginning of this beautiful book, everybody has a copy, I imagine. If you don't, get one. Okay, at the beginning of Srimad Bhagvatam, it is said that the very learned Vyasadeva compiled this is actually known as the Bhagavata Purana, okay? He compiled it. Why did he compile it? Because he had nothing better to do. He thought, got a lot of free time. He actually did it because, or did he want fame? No, he did it because he wanted to stop mass ignorance in a big way. And this is what was compiled. Because Krishna had already spoken the Bhagavad Gita. He spoke it before this material world, to the sun god, as we know from the Gita. And the sun god passed it on to his son, Ishvaku, right? Yes. And Manu, sorry. Manu. And Manu. Not Manu to Ishvaku. It's the other way around. Huh? We was from the sun god. Then Manu the man, and then man to the first king. Okay. And so this thing about Narada instructing Prahlad when he was in his mother's womb. In effect, you see, you know the story here, don't you? Because you know the Devatas, the demigods, kidnapped the mother of Prahlad Maharaj, the wife who's the wife of a very famous demon, and it's not Mr. Murdoch. It's his wife name is called Katyadu, right? Right, yeah. And because with the idea, or the terrible idea that, rather not the idea, they were paranoid. They were so fearful that this son that was to be born, Prahlad, would be even a bigger demon than his father, or maybe a chip of the old block. But Narada Muni actually intervened. He stopped it. He explained that that inside the womb of Kayadu was a great devotee, and this is Prahlad Maharaj. Now the point is that Prahlad is doing what he was instructed. As you know, Narada. Sorry, Narada was son of Brahma. Okay, one of the sons of Brahma, apart from the Kumaras, etc. And so this is what Prahlad is telling us, that he was given information about God, and he's giving it to us, and it's up to us to pass it on to every living being, especially human beings, can understand. There's no point you whispering the Srimad Bhagvatam to the two alpacas out there, because they're not really interested. Or maybe they might be actually, but who knows? We chant the holy names to them anyway. There is, you can. We're not saying that people are completely uninterested. They are interested in understanding the truth in some way, form, or other. But how do they do it? They take to speculation, and usually, if they actually attain something, they attain the concept of impersonal Brahman. Yeah, very few actually know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, neither do we actually yet, but we do know He exists inside us, and He's all around us. Yeah, He's omnipresent. Now, another good Sanskrit word that we should take into account is Atma Bhavita, which indicates that devotees should preach and deliver the conditioned soul. This is our duty, and you can find this in the second verse of the Sad Goswami Ashtaka, a song that was composed by Srinivas Acharya. The second verse says, Nana Shastra Vicharanaka Nipunao Sadama Samsapako. This verse is very, very interesting, because it says that by studying the scripture very carefully, with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings, not just one human being, all human beings. The devotee's job is actually to strike a match inside us. Our soul is actually completely near guna, is untouchable by the material nature. It's covered, but it's not touched in its purest form. So basically, we as devotees should strike a match in order to wake up the sleeping soul who is conditioned by the material illusion. And because that way, anything about Krishna will bring back that long forgotten absolute truth to us. Yeah. So what Prahlad is trying to say is that we shouldn't just sit on our laurels and say, okay, I know Krishna consciousness, I read the Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm all right, check. It's not the attitude to take. You're supposed to actually pass on all this information, because if you have been blessed by another devotee and you become free from kamakanda and jnanakanda activities, and as it is sung in the Brahma Samhita, I think it's the 5th verse from the Govindam prayers. It says, Videshu dulabam at atma bhakto. The Lord is actually realized by devotion and not by kamakanda and jnanakanda. And the greatest service that one can do for Krishna is to try and infuse this devotional service that you are involved in into the hearts of the conditioned soul. And this way you would actually give them mukti or liberation from conditional life. Now, if you do this, the individual, any individual will get a spiritual bashing both ways. It gets mugged first by you, okay, then by the Paramatma, the super soul. Yeah. So within the heart, you if you know Krishna. My Posashi Ki. Now, this greatest service that you can, I mentioned about our great acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, a true Vaishnava is actually recognized by how he or she convinces a conditional soul about his or her eternal position. Okay, so we're talking about preaching, aren't we? Yeah, because this is very important to reawaken the dominant understanding that one is an eternal servant of Krishna. Now, the word preach is very important, because inside that word preach, take away the P is to reach, and you reach the P. Who are the P? People in general, yes, but it can be anything. You can find a whole list on Google if you want. You know, you can reach another preacher, you can reach the poor or poverty-stricken, the philosopher, there are lots of P's actually. In this case, Prahlad's mother, the pregnant. I thought I'd stick that in. This is the list is endless. I made the list just for fun, but I think it's much too long. You know, the possessive, the professional, the profane, the politicians. Okay, that'll be a hard job. The paranoid, the panic-stricken, you know, the physician and his patient as well. The pensive, the perceptive, you know, the perplexed, etc. You have to make people understand that Krishna consciousness is a philosophical movement. We are physical, not sentimental. It's not about my religion, your religion, and everybody else's religion. Yeah. Because what is religion? Religion comes from the Latin word relegare. It is to reconnect. But it does not mean that you have to give it labels: Christianity, Islam, or Hinduism, etc. Real religion is the process by which one can have love for that one supreme person. And how can you do this? You can only do this by giving up all the attachments that you have, which are sinful. And that's why, you know, we all, as devotees, take a vow with the 4 regulative principles. We don't eat meat, fish, or eggs. We don't intoxicate. We don't gamble, and we don't have illicit sex. Okay. Now, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya chapter 20, text 108. This chapter is very nice, because it is for me it's like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita instructing Arjuna, because in this chapter is actually called Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami in the science of absolute truth, right? And it says in this text 108, strangely 108, isn't that a beautiful number? I'm surprised you all don't have cars with 108. Because like in Germany, all my god brothers and sisters have something 108. Anyway, I don't know how much they pay for that, but anyway, the text, let's say, Jivera Svarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. Okay, so this is the word Nitya Dasa is important. This is what our constitutional position. We are eternal servants of the absolute truth. So we as devotees must follow the three letters IDI. What is IDI, you ask? Is he out of his mind? Is that a company we should invest in? Yes, it is. No, IDI. So when it is the three words that I maybe I'm speculating. Anyway, it's to ingest, which means to study and to learn. Okay, scripture. Digest, to understand and assimilate, and then invest. What do you invest in? Because invest is to teach, because you endow other living beings with the knowledge that you have. Quite simple, isn't it? Ingest, digest, and invest. Okay. The aim of being Krishna conscious is to also become gurus, and not gurus that you have to travel around the world, be renowned and preach to great big numbers of people. Is to be a guru by example, and to get, to pass on information. You have to think of Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, as the Postmaster General. Okay, we're all serving him as little postmen. We bring little all these things are messages, postcards, and letters that all the scriptures are. It's bringing good tidings to sad people. We don't impose on them, because we're not here to harass people. We just bring them, all these good news. We're telling them, you have a choice. You can read what's in this news and try and understand it, but you choose. But this is our duty. We try and bring the news, and we repeat this postman's service. We don't just come to the door once. You come to the door every day, if possible. I mean, I don't mean you have to stalk the person or be a pest. Now, I already mentioned that the Krishna is your Chaitya Guru, the Guru within you. And we've been lucky. We've been given the Maha Mantra to chant. Why? Because this purifies you. When you purify yourself, it's like going to like some people spending a lot of money going to health clubs and gyms and to build up their material muscles. By chanting and reading scripture, you are developing your spiritual muscle. Okay, because when you do this by chanting offenselessly, okay, without any offense, and the serious reading of scripture and studying them. Obviously, you will need a spiritual master to guide you, another guru, yeah, and therefore only that way you can advance. This whole idea of being a little guru is not difficult. There's no need for a master's degree or PhDs, okay? Nothing academic. Prabhupada said you only need your tongue. To do what? To chant Hare Krishna, okay? Which I think everybody does here, okay? And to ask those that you meet, whether it's, you don't pester them, but you just ask them, nicely, and you introduce or you break the ice in many different ways. Yeah, I mentioned the last lesson. You can say, "Did you know that you are not the body?" Okay, you can ask, but the thing is that with your tongue, you can ask those that you meet and you become familiar with. You become a devotee of Krishna, of God. And of course, use your tongue happily to eat Krishna prasadam, okay, which will happen in a few minutes' time when you go and have your breakfast. In this way, your life will be like what is mentioned in this verse by the two people in this verse, Narada Muni and Prahlad Maharaj. Krishna at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, 1863, he tells Arjuna, I've given you all this knowledge, you choose what you want to do with it. Yes, you choose, but three verses down the line in 1866, he says, Sarvadaman Paridaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. He says, surrender to me. Why? Because he knows from our curriculum vitae of living in the material world in different bodies, is that we have always made the wrong choice. So he says, surrender. Forget mukti, siddhi, and bhukti. So these are all personal things, And because many people worship demigods and all that to accumulate punya. You know what punya is? Punya is like brownie points, points, good points. It's like when you go to the supermarket, you got your little loyalty card. Was it? I don't. I mean, Tesco's have one. Marks and Spencer's have. Club card, is it? Oh right, you're part of the club, yeah. I'm thinking we should start an ISKCON club card. Yeah, you got one?
No.
There is one, is it? Oh. Yeah. And what do you? Life member. Well, that card just gets you into anywhere, any temple without any problem. Yeah, you're right about that, actually. But I think it's not. You have to be a big donor to be a life member, don't you? I mean, someone like me couldn't afford to be a life member. Okay. I would have to get a mortgage for that, I think. Hitesh. Oh, Hitesh, when you become a life member, don't get to tell me. I'll accompany you to Mayapur willingly, or to Vrindavan. No, Vrindavan first before Mayapur for me. So, because these punyas, these club card points, as they say, they are spiritual club, or not even spiritual. They're all very personal, but they all happens when you actually reach a certain amount of points. It's not a jackpot, but you can claim the prize. But you just go to the heavenly planets like Bhuvaloka, Svaloka, Brahmaloka, Tapaloka. They're just heavenly planets. They're not back to the spiritual world. So, and then not to speak about yogic powers. People, what's it, the anima, lagima, and rapi siddhi, all those things. When you preach, the idea is to wake up people gently, not violently. Yeah, this is very important, because they also have a right to choose the material world, and this is a God-given right. It's not something that we can decide. In the material world, everybody says time means money. Yeah, every second that goes by, we're losing so much money. In the spiritual world, time means opportunity. Okay, opportunity to rebuild our relationship while we're here, and opportunity to serve. It is unfortunate that we don't. All our leaders are not like Srila Prabhupada. Okay, our so-called leaders today are devoid of all knowledge of the soul. They are anda yattande upaniyamana. What does that mean? They are blind leading the blind. Okay, and what's worse is going down a blind alley. And when you go down a blind alley, what happens? You end up in a big bin, or a skip, as we call it in England, big trash can. So Prabhupada wanted us to become first-class citizens. And what is a first-class citizen? This is exactly what Narada and Prahlad are going on about also. First-class citizen actually is one who understands the mission of this human form of life. This human form of life is not about beauty, money, power, or influence. It's about returning back to your constitutional position of Sanatana Dharma. You will find that materialists who are mostly fruitive workers, mental speculators, and mystic jugglers. Yeah, and these all most materialists are against the existence of God. You will find, like if you look at a lot of scientists, their God is actually Charles Darwin. But believe it or not, and yet Darwin actually said when he was leaving his body that he made a mistake writing the book he wrote. He says now they all my colleagues will think that God doesn't exist, because Darwin actually believed in God. Yeah. I want to end by saying that you must remember that your life will fly past very quickly, just like the 7 days for Parishit Maharaj when he listened to this the Srimad Bhagvatam. And so the advice is to be satisfied with what the Lord has given you. Take guidance from a spiritual master like Shukadeva Goswami, and hanker after God and not things that are not permanent. Okay, and always remember to ask pertinent questions. And this is this verse 7, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 28. It's about us developing as devotees into little gurus or big gurus if you're qualified. But the important thing is that you are that postman that working for the great Postmaster General and deliver that message of God. Okay, I thank you. Any questions, comments?
What is the definition of a little guru?
A little guru. A little guru is all of us in our beginning stages in our Krishna consciousness, and like all of you preach when you go on Sankirtan, for example. I suppose you become I'm not talking about physical size or anything. It's just that it's you start small and build up. Okay, obviously time, place, and circumstance. Obviously, if you only know the Gita and a few cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam, you can't preach everything about the Bhagavatam immediately. So that's what I meant by little, in sense of the little knowledge you know, and then you progress more and more. Okay.
It's not like spiritual master. You were thinking that a spiritual master is a spiritual master or.
No, I don't. Well, I don't think any spiritual master is small.
Because guru means.
Yeah, but then but if you're instructing someone, you're guru, aren't you? Okay, it means teacher also. It doesn't mean, in that sense, that everybody has to call you Maharaj, for example. Yeah. I mean, little guru in the sense that you set examples. You try to wake up their dormant eternal relationship with Krishna. That's what I meant. Okay. Any? Prabhu, you have anything questions? No. Okay. Kantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Sri Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much for listening.
Ram Prabhu ki.